Good evening. Why I'm laughing? Because me and my guest have just gone through for the last 20 minutes trying to figure out what the hell's going on with technical issues, which turned out to be my side. Apologies with that. Anyway, um, I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone will comment who you are, where you are in the world, and hope you've had a great week so far. Now, my guest, after reading her bio, all I've got to say is wow. We're going to be covering a lot tonight, and I got her name in one, so congratulations to me. It is Pamela Topjian.
Pamela Topjian.
Topjian. She is the breakthrough hypnotherapist. What one of them is, I have not got a clue, but we're going to find out. Now, all I've got to. Pamela's been. Before we get started, would you like me to call you Pam, Pamela?
Well, I don't know if it's your accent, but it's Pamela Topjian, but you can call me Pam, is just fine.
Pamela?
Pamela?
I'll call you Pam. I'll call you Pam.
Pam is good,
Pam's
yep.
Good. Fantastic. Now, Pam has gone through so many, many challenges in her life, and we are going to be covering what happened, and how she has transformed her life to be a successful hypnotherapist herself. And all I've got to say is welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Now, obviously, like we've been speaking briefly, this is your second ever interview.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
this is my second ever only live interview. Yep. And we had a lot of trouble, but we made it through.
Yeah, so it is understandable that your anxiety levels are going to be probably on the high, but if you read all the reviews of people who's been on this show, I just put people at ease.
Yeah,
that's all it is. We try and make it a little bit fun, even though it's serious and the stories that have been heard. We just try and make it as good as we can.
Yeah. We have to make light of it. I mean, things are in the past or, challenges. That's what it's all about, is just getting the stories out there, letting people know that it's okay to talk about your stories. It's okay to talk about mental health. And it doesn't always have to be such gloom and doom and so sad and scary and everything. So that's what it's all about.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to get started with some quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to say tea or coffee?
Tea, definitely. How about you?
Well, I drink lattes or cappuccinos, but if I had to choose, I'd choose coffee. Favorite season?
I think it's probably fall, because it's so pretty, and by the end of the summer, you're ready for, it to get a little cooler. I'm in California. I don't know. I mean, in the U.S., I know that you're, in the UK. So I don't know, the seasons are a little different, I'm not sure even.
It's very different.
Yeah.
Let's just say our summer, we get about 5 days of sun, and then we get about a month of rain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our summer. That's our beautiful summer. But it's cold. Or humid sometimes.
Yeah.
I hate humid weather. And last one I'll just say is Christmas or Halloween.
Of those two, I would have to say Halloween.
Yeah.
How about you?
So I'm gonna say Halloween.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna give a short break a minute. Just hang on, Carrie. Carrie. She's ignoring me. Oh, come on. No, this charger, it's a bit of a dodgy one. Oh, I don't know. Oh, but Anyway, Kerry, I need you a minute. Come here. Oh well. Anyway, right. So I'm gonna get started with like, who is Pam? Like, what was she like as a little girl growing up?
Well, as you know, I have been through a lot as a child. We moved a lot, so I would say I was kind of shy, but I'm not necessarily shy, and I wasn't as a kid as much. Just more so that we kept moving to different schools, different neighborhoods. Um, so as a child, you know, and I was alone a lot, and just kind of, I loved dolls as a kid. So I think that's kind of where my nurturing, my healing nature comes in. I played with dolls a lot. It was my favorite thing, even paper dolls. I had friends. We moved a lot, so I had friends that I would write actual letters to because, it was 70s and that before the internet. So I always kept in touch with my friends from wherever we moved. Um, so I don't know, I had two
Okay.
sisters growing up, and
Yeah.
one of them was in a car accident when I was a teenager. And so, yeah, a lot of challenges in my childhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And obviously that's probably where the trauma has actually come from.
Well, there's a lot of different, that's why it's CPTSD, because it's complex post traumatic, trauma. There's a lot of things that could be considered that was the thing, but there was so many things that that's why it's CPTSD, complex post traumatic. Um,
Absolutely.
when my parents first divorced, my father was not in the picture and I was little, and he didn't help with child support at all. And again, I don't know what it's like in the UK, but here now they do go after the fathers if they don't pay the child support. It's called like a deadbeat dad thing. And so they can be put away, or, it's a crime not to pay your child support. But back in the 70s, they didn't have that law. And so my mother was trying to work and have these three girls that she was just trying to keep a roof over our head. And a lot of times we didn't even have food or clothes, really. My sisters are quite a bit older than me, so they were teenagers. They would go off and do their own thing, and I'd be left home alone and hungry a lot of the time. And so there's that. That's considered a neglect, even though it wasn't willful. Um,
Yeah.
when I had went to therapy about 5 years ago, I was kind of surprised to hear that that was considered neglect, but it is, and it makes sense. So that's a trauma thing right there. And then my sister passing away when I was a teenager, unexpectedly in a car accident. That's a trauma thing, like you mentioned. And then after that, or actually before that, so a very young teen, sexually assaulted and then date raped as a little bit older teen, and then a young mother. So all kinds of all kinds of things along the way, all these different, traumas that, led to CPTSD rather than just PTSD. So that's a lot. We covered a lot in just a
It
short
is.
amount of
It,
time.
it is actually a lot to process, and all I've
Yeah.
got to say is, yeah, I, I'm actually glad you're still here.
Yeah, I know, I
I
know, me
know.
too. I know. It's crazy to even think about it. And I had forgotten actually a lot of it, and I had started writing it all out, and I ended up having a real breakdown. I married twice. My second marriage, he was abusive, and after that one, I was knocked out to where I was unconscious. And when I left, with the help of the police, I never went back, and I divorced him. And I thought that at that time everything would be great. I'm free. I can be my own person, whatever. But I ended up having a huge breakdown to where I could barely take care of myself, and got on a bus, moved across the country just on a kind of a whim and the suggestion of a friend. And so then I was just kind of taking care of people's pets and homes and doing what I could just to have a place to live and make a little bit of money. And So from there, um, I was then I that's when I started getting therapy. So that's when I found out you know, um, that it was considered CPTSD, and went through a year of therapy and just kind of barely making it. And I had my nursing license before that, but I took a year off of nursing um, because of not being able to even take care of myself really. So then I got my nursing license back so I could just make some good money and be off on my own in that. And but nursing was never really, how a lot of nurses say it's their calling. For me, it was too medical,
Yeah.
too much of a band-aid. I wanted to get deeper and help people even more, at a deeper level and a more holistic level, really. And that's where hypnotherapy comes in. So
Mhm.
I had went to school for hypnotherapy while I was nursing, while I was in my second marriage still, and I never was able to take the test and get certified in that, even though I had finished that course. So then last year, during the pandemic, after um, you know, couple patients had passed away, and it was really hitting me hard, and I realized that after this breakdown, that I was not able to handle the stuff that I used to be able to handle in nursing. So among other things, there was issues with the whole healthcare system in Illinois,
Yeah.
in the U.S. anyway. But so from there, I started taking hypnotherapy classes again, and really just that's where my passion is. And so when I realized that I had this big breakdown, I didn't know if I would ever come back to be normal, normal again. Um, that's when I kind of realized, oh my gosh, I'm going to be better. It was just like such a breakthrough, and and that's why I named my business Breakthrough Hypnotherapy, because I want people to realize that no matter how you feel, no matter how broken, how empty, no matter what you've been through, you can, you can have a breakthrough. You can come back from that. And that's huge. And that's so much more healing than giving people meds or taking care of, people after surgery or children born with all these, kinds of physical, disabilities. Although that's very important and I highly respect, the great nurses and doctors that do that, it's just not where my passion was as much as this more mental, this more,
Yeah,
deep
absolutely.
level healing for people.
Absolutely.
So
So what was your education like? Because I bet that would be tough for you.
yeah, yeah. Well, we moved a lot, as I said, and so I was either the new kid a lot, and I didn't have, clothes that fit me very well, and I was hungry, and it was mentioned in another podcast that I was watching about how now there's systems in place for kids who don't have the money to get free lunch. When I was in school, we didn't get free lunch. And so I skipped a lot of school, um, you know, and I ended up, when I was pregnant with my son, I was 17 and I wasn't allowed to finish high school. They don't do that now, but back then they did. They said, We don't want you to be this bad influence on the other kids being pregnant teenager in school." They wanted me to come back the next year. But instead of doing that, I took my GED, and then I took care of children. I mean, I loved it. This is before my first marriage. So I, took care of some infant twins and, was a live in nanny. And then I worked in daycares, and then I got married and had my own children. And then I still worked in daycares and took care of my children. I just really immersed myself in motherhood. And then from there, then I went to nursing school. And that first marriage was not an abusive one. It was just like emotional and verbally abusive. It was not physical abusive, but it still was really, knocking me down and keeping me down. So after I knew I could take care of myself with my nursing degree, then I left that marriage, but I got into a worse marriage. But I didn't realize at that time that all the stuff from childhood, you know, kept me from making good decisions or knowing what a good relationship was or how to be treated and all of that. So, yeah. So I think we
Damn.
covered it all.
I think we have, yes. Yeah, so obviously after the education, like you became a mom. Like let's just talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
You becoming a mom for the very first time with all
Yes.
the trauma that was thrown at you. What was your reaction to when you found out you were going to be a mom for the very first time?
Well, I'll tell you a story that I don't think I've mentioned anywhere really is that I was 17, I was 16, 17. I went to go get to the clinic to get birth control and found out that I was pregnant. And so my first reaction was shock, which is ridiculous. If you're sexually active, you're probably going to get pregnant, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I was just shocked, but I never thought about, terminating the pregnancy, which would have been completely understandable at that age, and that. But my oldest sister had already passed away, and our family was starting to get back together as far as my other sister was married. We were doing pretty well. I wasn't hungry anymore. We had, enough to eat and stuff like that. Um, so I told my mother, and I wasn't sure how she was going to react, but I knew that I was going to do what I could do to be this child's mother. And then once I knew that I made that decision and I got past telling my mother, I was very excited because I've always loved little children. I've always loved little babies. I always loved playing with dolls before that. So I think that is just really in me. That was a big part of me. And I was
Brilliant.
surprised to find out that my mother was very supportive of me. She didn't kick me out or anything. And because I was so young, I was still on her insurance. So her work insurance paid for my prenatal care. So that was awesome. And so yeah, I just, dove in full force being a mother at 17. And it's crazy now to think, of course, it's crazy now to think about that, but at the time I just did what came natural, it just felt right, it felt good. I really enjoyed being a mom.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's practically where all the sudden transformation actually started with you, because it's like you needed all that protection when you was growing up from a little girl, and when you found out you was going to be a mum yourself, suddenly you thought, I need to protect even more. So I bet that mothering instinct, because I don't understand mothering instincts,
Mhm.
but I bet those boundaries were higher than what normal mothers would be.
And that's a very good point, Adam. I never thought about that, because at the time I didn't realize until, like I said, just 5 years ago, I didn't even really realize that there was much different about my childhood other than just, living in poverty and whatever. But and it is very prevalent that, teen girls are sexually assaulted, and that it's not really that uncommon.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, but but it still doesn't make it any less traumatic just because it's so common.
no, no, no,
But
no.
I never thought about it that that one of the reasons I really was so involved in being a mother and really enjoyed it was sort of healing from my own childhood, and that may be.
Absolutely. And obviously Elizabeth Gilpie has tuned in, so she says hi. So hi to her. And there was a previous before we actually came on. Obviously, there's a comment by you saying you were looking forward to this.
Yeah.
And then there was one of Tiffany Werner saying, good luck,
Oh,
I'll
hi,
try and log in
Tiffany.
with one. Yeah, well, if Tiffany is still tuned in, hello, please share this. And yeah, it's all about getting stories out there. And this way it leads to me asking like a breakthrough hypnotherapist. Like I've never heard of one until I came across it on your post.
Oh,
Exactly, I've never heard of it, so I'm going
well,
to
it's
ask this.
Breakthrough Hypnotherapy is the name of my business. It's hypnotherapy. A hypnotherapist, you know, conducts hypnotherapy. So there's different names. Breakthrough is just the name I gave my business because
Yeah.
that's what I went through a breakthrough, and I want other
Oh,
people to know that they can as well. They have a breakdown and then they have a breakthrough.
exactly. So that's where I'm going to ask is, what does the hypnotherapist mean to you?
Well, it means getting deeper into the issues than than a lot of people are able to in other kinds of therapies. Hypnotherapy can be used as a complementary to other types of therapies or people who have had no luck trying other things. Oftentimes then hypnotherapy will work because it is a little different. We don't talk about
Yeah,
the issues unless they want to. Some people won't. I mean, hypnotherapy is known for helping people to quit smoking, helping people to lose
yeah,
weight or to gain confidence or with test anxiety, but it also can be used for traumas and to dig deep. And they've had, they're stuck in life, they're just way down in life and they don't know how to get out of it. And they're tired of telling their story or they're not able to speak about it sometimes, some people. And so traditional therapy isn't working for them. So they come to a hypnotherapist, and I just help them to calm their conscious mind, calm their physical body, and then we can address the subconscious mind for the desired outcome. Whether it's, releasing, blocks and obstacles that are down deep, and we don't even have to name them. And it works.
no,
It's awesome. It's just so simple, but it just works peacefully. Um, People do sometimes get emotional, but it's not, they don't have to sit there and replay their story over and over again, um, which, some people that's very healing and that's very helpful, but for other people it's not. So this is a different option, and it can be done over the phone, which I found out during this pandemic year. I don't know what it was like for you guys, but I know it was all over the world. We had this COVID issue, so I've been taking a lot of people, by phone and by Zoom even, but people who, first contact me through Zoom and we have a session, they just lay back and they close their eyes and so they end up wanting to go to the phone anyway rather than just, we don't have to see each other. It's just more of being able to hear me, so it works really well over the phone. So I'm able to take people all over the place, so that's awesome. It doesn't have to be right in my
fantastic,
area.
fantastic. So if you
Yeah.
so yeah, so for anyone that actually wants to get that stress off their chest, out their minds, definitely contact Pamela. Where can people find you?
It's hypnobreakthrough.com. And if they go to that homepage, all the social media links are there right on that homepage. There's also, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram with Breakthrough Hypnotherapy. Um, so, hypnobreakthrough.com is really the place to go. And I believe that you did put the link down in the description I
I
saw
did,
earlier. So thank you.
yeah, yeah. So all the information is in the description on this
Yeah.
video. So obviously, I was actually going to say if somebody can put it in the comments and I'll pin it up, that's fine. But it's already in the description. Even on Facebook, it's in the description also because it
Yeah,
wouldn't let
great.
me post. It won't let me post this stream onto Facebook without putting a description. So
Mhm.
that's what I've done. So happy
Thank you.
days and anytime, anytime. So all I've got to say, yeah, yeah, Elizabeth's right. You are a lifesaver. You are.
Well, thank you. I mean, I've been through so much that it amazes me that I'm still here. It amazes me that I'm sane, and I just want people to know that they can get over it too. They can get, past whatever they've been through to live a much better life. It's so important. So many people get so stuck, and that's what you're doing too, is trying to break that stigma of mental health issues and get people
Yeah,
talking about it and letting people know that there's help out there in all different capacities. And if something doesn't work, because there's so many different types of therapy, coaching, different treatments, all kinds. And if something isn't working, don't think, oh, I tried, it didn't work. Find something else. And it does take patience and it does take diligence, and it's not easy. I understand that. I couldn't find the help I needed at first until I came to California. And it was really rough. I mean, very high anxiety, suicidal, all of that. When I was numb, for like a year, just numb, just barely making it. Um, so I want people to know they don't have to live like that, that there is hope. There is hope, and it's worth the search. If you don't find something that works for you and you have to keep searching, or reach out for help, let people know that
yeah,
you can't, you're not able to find that help, or that, I need help finding, I tried this, that didn't work, what else can I do? There's no shame in reaching out. It takes a lot of strength to reach out, in fact. And I just, it's so important to get that message out there.
yeah, exactly. Because it takes only 5 seconds to send a message to somebody asking
Yeah.
for help. That's all it takes, 5 seconds. So don't ever think it's that take one step forward but take 2 steps back. No. Of course, doors are going to close on you. That's fine. But if a door closes, another one always opens.
Right, right.
You
There
jump
are
at
other
every
doors. There
there's
are
always
other doors.
you jump at every opportunity. Of course, you're gonna come across things that are just not gonna work for you. I've
Right.
done that. Pam's done that. I bet Elizabeth has, and I bet even Tiffany has. I
She's
bet
been
she's
through a
come
lot as
across things
well.
like that.
Yes.
She has.
So many,
She
so many
has.
people, so many people that are doing so much good in the world now have been through so much. And that's another reason that we're all out here, you know, trying to let people know you can go through such terrible things in your life and come out, on the other side to live a happy, normal life. And not only that, but to help others through their healing journey. It's so important. It's
Exactly.
very healing for those of us. I know you have had some your own issues as well,
Yeah.
and it's, I'm sure, this doing this that you do is helps to heal you as well, knowing that you're getting the word out there and helping others. So that's
Oh,
awesome as
oh, this,
well. Yeah.
this to me is self care. This is
Yeah,
self
yeah.
care to me, and
Yes.
I love it. I love it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah, because even my partner's noticed since I've started doing these, I've been
Mhm.
smiling a lot more, and
Oh,
I think
good.
that's
Yes.
actually I think that's powerful because even
Very.
just a simple yeah, we've all wore that mask and
Mhm.
we've worn it for years, but
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. It's time to take that mask off. Stories are here to be heard,
Right.
and the only person that needs to find that confidence to tell it is yourself.
Right.
But the help is there.
Yes. Yes. And by us telling our stories, it helps other people to know, oh, if they can talk about that, so can I. Or,
Exactly.
or wow, I didn't know that other people had been through that or felt that way. We think that people know that others feel that way or have had those feelings and those issues, but not everybody realizes. You feel so alone sometimes when you're in that, lowest part of your life. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And speaking of that, because obviously I've got a website, and I know we've been posting about like different topics like depression, self
Mhm.
harm, PTSD, but I've
Mhm.
actually never thought of actually putting CPTSD. So I'm
Yeah.
actually, yeah, I'm going to actually add that and get that posted
Yeah,
onto the
it's
site.
complex PTSD, or it's just a combination, you can think of it that way. It's a combination of different traumas, uh, post traumatic trauma, you know, um so it's complex. There's many things that have happened through somebody's life you know, that has been traumatic. So that's what
Absolutely.
CPTSD is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how well, since all this lockdown's been going on, and we've been at this for what, about a year now?
Yeah, yeah, we just passed the year anniversary, at least in my area, at least in the US, yeah.
Yeah. So all I've got to say is, how are you holding up?
Well, luckily, I actually am for the first time in a very good marriage. And so without him, I wouldn't
Brilliant.
have been able to do that, because being all alone probably would have brought me down again. I'm not sure. But the hypnotherapy as well, I have told
Yeah.
some of my clients that, I thank them for reaching out. I thank them for allowing me into their lives and into their psyche, and helping them helps me just as much, just like you said, with what you're doing.
Yeah.
It helps me just as much to help them. I love it. I just love it. you
Oh yeah.
know
Yeah.
um you know how
Absolutely.
that is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I do. I do. I do. I do. So yeah. So if anyone has got a story, please reach out.
Mhm.
Please reach out. We want to hear your stories.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah. So obviously, how long? Well, no. What were I going to say? Then? See, this is what I mean. I don't have a script when it comes
Right.
to
Right.
questions. I don't.
And then when there's all the
Um,
stress a little bit beforehand, it kind of makes you
yeah. It's all right, Elizabeth. She lost the connection.
oh,
Yeah, that's what's gonna. Yeah, that's how it is. But
yeah, that's how it is.
what's next? Like, because obviously you've got this breakthrough hypnotherapist, coaching, but what's next for you? Like, is there gonna be a book? Is it gonna be you doing podcasts?
Well, you are only my second interview. So, as far as me being on the other end, I'm not sure. I think I could do that. I haven't given it any thought. There's a lot of you guys out there doing that. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have a couple other interviews, tell my stories other places. I don't know. I actually did start to write my life story. Before I was even in therapy, or no, it wasn't. It was right about the same time I was in therapy. I started writing it all out because it was all coming back to me. And so I do want to get that out there, but I feel like I need to wait because things are still happening. It's like I'm writing it out, but there's not an ending yet. I mean, not that I want to wait till the very end, but sort of like my memoirs or my autobiography. I think it's a good
Absolutely.
story of making it through, and going through so much and then making it through on the other side. And breakthrough hypnotherapy is relatively new, so I'm kind of I'm taking clients. I'm able. I have spots open for new clients anywhere, because it's remote. It works very well. So what's next for that? That's a good question. I'm excited to see where it goes, actually. So.
Exactly. And Tiffany is actually tuned in. She says, "Hi, great interview. Pamela is a survivor." And she's also put, "I look forward to having hypnotherapy done too."
Mm.
So, Tiffany, since you've interviewed Pamela, if you want hypnotherapy, go to her. Go on, connect. Connect.
Yeah, she's in the US, so it's possible. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because I believe, even though there are professionals out there that possibly do an absolute amazing job in helping people. I believe the best people to actually help people who are in crisis, whether it's PTSD, CPTSD,
Hmm.
suicide attempt, is actually people that's been through it themselves.
Right. I would, when I had first taken my first course and I wasn't able um take the next step to become certified, I was not the person that I am today. All that I've been through and even being through my own, complete breakdown and being through my own therapy and making it back up on the other side, um, I think has made me a much better hypnotherapist, much better position to help others really deeply. So I think that's very true. I think it's highly possible and people are able to help others that haven't been through something, but those that have been through a lot, can really empathize. That you can say, I've been there. I know how that feels. It's
Yeah,
my mission to help you to get out of that because I know how that feels. So yeah, that does make a difference. I know
yeah,
for me it
absolutely.
has. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, um, how far have you got with this autobiography? Because I bet a lot of people are waiting to read it, including myself.
Really? uh,
Yeah,
well, it's been on a shelf for about a couple years, a year or so maybe. Um, yeah, because when I realized new things are still happening in my life, I can't just so um, you know, so it's kind of on the shelf right now. So maybe give it a couple of years. I don't know. Or a couple people have suggested that I do it in like a series. The first 10 years and the or the first 25 years and then the second 25 years, and I don't
better
know.
late than never. Better late than never. Hey, I've got people. I've actually written a book, but it's never been published. But people
Right.
keep hounding me saying, "Please publish your book." I've said,
Well, there
"No,
you
I'm too
go.
busy."
So Adam, when you publish your book, then I'll publish mine. How about that? We'll make a,
Oh,
we'll make a deal. We'll make a deal and we'll
now
read
you've
each
put
other's
me on the
books.
spot. Now you've put me on the spot. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. Please get this shared, guys. Please do. This is such a powerful story from a young girl who was traumatized um, to transforming her life into coaching people with hypnotherapists. And I think it's absolutely powerful.
Thank
And
you. Thank
all
you.
God says, you're an absolute warrior, Pam.
Thank
You are.
you.
You're a warrior.
Thank you.
And
So are you.
we all are.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true. It's
we're all
true.
warriors.
Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story.
They
Yeah,
do.
there's no shame in
They do.
telling it, and there's no shame in reaching out. And yeah, everybody should reach out, whether it's hypnotherapy, coaching, other kinds of therapy, other kinds of treatment. There's not one thing that works best for everybody. You have to find what works best for you, and keep looking. If
Exactly.
you can't, don't find it. Yeah, because there's
Exactly.
so many different
So,
types of therapists and treatments out there.
yeah. So my very final question for you: if
Yes.
you came across a client, well, a potential client that was
Hmm.
in crisis, they was
Hmm.
absolutely traumatized with what happened in their life, what would you advise them?
Well, I always have a free consultation, and through that, I can decide whether or not, after the consultation, we can see if hypnotherapy is a good option for them or if they need. I have a few friends, other than Tiffany as well, but that are more traditional therapists, and, I can refer to other therapies. We can also, hypnotherapy works well as a complementary treatment as well, a complementary therapy, like, as like to have a toolbox of things that they can do. If somebody is in absolute crisis mode, I give them like hotline numbers to use in between sessions, or, if they need that, if somebody's going to be suicidal in that, I give them hotline numbers. I'm not like an ER hypnotherapist. You don't call me when you're in crisis. Um, we have our sessions and work, it works with the subconscious mind. It's not a kind of crisis mode type of a thing. But at the very least, when somebody comes to me, at the very least, they'll have some stress relief, even with the very first one. And it's cumulative, and progressive. So each session builds on the next, and, it works very well. There are people that have had some serious issues that end up, feeling better and getting past them through hypnotherapy. Other people use hypnotherapy with traditional therapy. Other people use hypnotherapy with things like, Reiki or other kinds of energy types of healings.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, all I've got to say is thank you for actually being an awesome guest.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you for having me, and
Please,
thank you for doing this.
you are most welcome. Thank you for actually braving
Hanging in
everything,
there.
fighting through that anxiety, fighting through that negativity, even through all those technical issues. And I saw you on when you was when I was on mute, and you were like, and you would say reschedule. I'm like, no, but yeah, yeah. For everyone that has tuned in, Tiffany, it's Charat. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. There are some fantastic interviews in there with obviously not just Pam. I've got others. I've even got one with Tiffany, which is on there. I've got one with Joe Potosi,
Joe Potosi, yep.
who's also part of the Moments of Clarity
Mm-hmm.
team. And it seems I'm going to be interviewing all people from Moments of Clarity, which
Oh, nice.
fair enough. Let's just see what happens there. Who knows? But anyway, thank you all for being brilliant. Now, I have not got a podcast tomorrow. I haven't, but I'm actually jumping on a show myself, getting my story out there. Please tune in on Wednesday, and this will be 7:30 at night UK time, and I think this will benefit you, Pam. And the title is called "Why We Need Shit in Our Lives for Us to Grow."
Yeah, it helps, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And on that note, I am going to end this podcast. Please share this globally, and let's get this story out there. Cheerio.
Bye.